All right, builders and engineers, let's dive right into this. We've got a highly specific, totally crucial explainer lined up for you today. We are looking directly at the upcoming FTC 2026-2027 BioBuzz season, and more specifically, the engineering challenge of building the ultimate active intake for collecting pollen. We're going to look at exactly how to optimize your intake mechanisms using distinct, pure wheel setups. And I want to be clear right up front. Today, we are completely skipping any talk of mixed or hybrid arrays. We're keeping our setups clean, focused, and highly specialized so we can find the exact right tool for the job. To get there, we've structured the showdown into a few clear categories. First, building the perfect intake. Second, 72mm geckos for maximum outreach. Third, roller wheels for continuous coverage. Fourth, GripForce for maximum traction. Fifth, why the 48mm GripForce wins. And finally, gearing up at XRobots. Let's get started. Section 1, building the perfect intake, the baseline. Now, every successful robotic season really starts with mastering the fundamentals, right? When your main objective is collecting game elements like pollen reliably, the material actually touching that element is literally everything. So before we even look at the different shapes and sizes of our wheels, let's establish the great unifier across all the goBilda wheels we're examining in this explainer. And that unifier is 30A Durometer silicone rubber. Whether you're running a massive wheel or a tiny roller, this specific material gives you an exceptionally high grip surface. That 30A Durometer rating basically means the silicone is highly compliant. It's soft enough to compress and physically conform right around the shape of the pollen you're trying to collect, making sure it doesn't just slip out of your grasp. By establishing the shared spec, we're making sure we have a true apples-to-apples baseline. The material is a constant, so the real variables we're solving for today are geometry, size, and application.
Section 2, 72mm geckos for maximum outreach.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is it solves a very specific problem. Sometimes you don't just need to grab an object, you actually need to reach way out and pull it in from a distance. Enter the 3613 series Gecko wheel. At a massive 72mm in diameter, this is your absolute go-to for serious outreach. Notice that smooth, curved spoke design inside the wheel. Those spokes actually allow the entire outer ring to compress inward, nicely conforming around whatever it touches. Plus, take a look at the design. It is completely non-directional. So whether your intake mechanism is spinning clockwise or counterclockwise, these wheels are going to give you the exact same reliable results.
Let's look at the actual numbers here. It features a 14mm bore and commands a fairly hefty 56-gram weight. But the real engineering magic is in its plastic offset center core. You can literally adjust your wheel location on your build just by taking it off and flipping it around. One side features an 8mm drop perfectly designed to nestle a goBilda Sona cup, while the other side is 12mm deep. If sheer size and sweeping area are your main goals for pollen collection, this is for sure the definitive choice.
Moving on to Section 3, roller wheels for continuous coverage. Okay, but what if your FTC BioBuzz strategy requires covering a really long, continuous horizontal shaft? You absolutely cannot afford to leave any gaps for game elements to slip through. For that continuous coverage, you're going to need the goBilda intake roller wheels. We're looking at two highly specialized variants right here, the 12mm and the 16mm outer diameter rollers. Both of these are tiny, mighty, and incredibly grippy. They're actually designed to stretch tightly right over an 8mm Rex shaft. And since they come in packs of 8, a single pack literally lets you cover 128mm of continuous linear shafting. If you want a flawless, gapless roller intake, this is how you build it. And this brilliantly illustrates why these are the absolute kings of compact design. Both have that 8mm Rex bore and a 16mm width, but check out those weights. The 12mm roller is a microscopic 1.7 grams, and the 16mm comes in at just 3.2 grams. If your BioBuzz robot needs a highly compact, super lightweight intake system that spans the entire front of your chassis, stacking these uncombined rollers is exactly the answer you're looking for.
Section 4, GripForce for maximum traction.
Let's move to and see how this builds into the climax of our showdown, pure, uncompromised traction. We started by looking at standard spoke wheels, which just use a smooth outer surface to achieve general compression. But the GripForce line? That represents a really critical design evolution. Instead of a smooth surface, GripForce wheels feature these highly textured, raised pips. These pips directly echo the microscopic hairs on the toe pads of an actual gecko, multiplying the surface area and giving you unbelievable, aggressive, multi-surface traction. When you need to grab pollen quickly and hold it securely, this texture is a total game changer. Now, the GripForce line comes in two distinct sizes, the 32mm and the 48mm. Both of them feature an unconstrained 8mm Rex plastic center core. And that unconstrained part is super important. It basically means you can slide multiple wheels right next to each other on a single Rex shaft and use neighboring components to lock them all in. It creates an incredibly economical and space-saving assembly. Weight-wise, the 32mm is a very nimble 8.3 grams, while the larger 48mm comes in at 16 grams. Section 5. Why the 48mm GripForce wins. Look, both GripForce sizes are phenomenal, but in a showdown, there can only be one ultimate champion for the FTC BioBuzz season. When it really comes down to your specific needs, balancing pure speed, aggressive contact, and just unwavering grip on that pollen, one wheel absolutely stands above the rest. Honestly, the manufacturer's own documentation doesn't even hold back. They demand you, and I quote, grab the utmost of grippage, and state you're most likely to see this wheel's breathtaking abilities take hold in the object intaking mechanisms of an intake assembly. That dramatic language isn't just flashy marketing. It perfectly describes the massive performance leap you get when you apply the specific geometry to an active intake. So the crucial point is this: the 48mm GripForce is your definitive champion. It provides fierce, positive drive on goBilda's signature 8mm Rex shafting, which means absolutely no slip between the shaft and the wheel. Plus, that 48mm diameter is basically the Goldilocks zone. It gives you optimal rotational speed and a massive contact patch for grabbing objects without being overly bulky. And at just 16 grams, it perfectly balances size and rotational efficiency. For maximum traction and speed when intaking pollen, keeping your setup pure and strictly utilizing the 48mm GripForce is literally the single best choice you can make. Finally, Section 6. Gear up at XRobots. Because knowing the engineering theory and the specs is really only half the battle, right? The other half is actually getting these parts onto your build table and into your robot for the season. All of these precise components, from the massive 72mm standard Geckos for outreach to the gap-filling continuous intake rollers, all the way to our undisputed traction champion, the 48mm GripForce Gecko, they are all readily available to order right now at xrobots.in. They are an authorized distributor with all these exact parts currently in their goBilda wheels inventory, ready to be shipped straight to you. So we've explored the baseline materials, the massive outreach options, the continuous gapless rollers, and the absolute pinnacle of traction technology. The tools are right there waiting for you. So as you finalize your FTC BioBuzz strategy, I want to leave you with this question. Which of these distinct, pure, uncombined wheel geometries will you choose to drive the breathtaking abilities of your active intake? Thanks so much for going through this explainer with me today, and good luck building.